Hey, hi everybody. I am reporting from my room. Well, first day in our room. I got admitted last night around 7:30. We got in the room and it was already dark outside and the shades were drawn. But when we were headed up the elevator, they had called us on the phone and told us the room number, and Craig said, "I'm pretty sure that's on the side of the bad rooms." There are 4 sides. It's, a unit that's a square, and there are rooms on all 4 sides, and only one of the 4 sides has this view of buildings, and the others we're up on the 11th or 12th floor for transplant, and so they have views of up high. We're overlooking the city. And one side, the side when we were in the penthouse, oh, hang on. Hi. Is it time for something for me, or can I keep talking? Okay, great. I'm sending a video to my friends and family. So I'm telling them about my day. Whatever's best for y'all, if you need to do it now.
Okay.
Or I'll be about 15 minutes. So whatever's best.
We'll come back.
Okay. I appreciate it. So let's see. So we came into the room and basically I started crying, and I couldn't stop. I cried and cried. So I think it was just a buildup of everything, and I hadn't cried for a good while through everything. I cried when I got the first day of the 1,000,000 stem cells, just in great, overwhelmed relief and gratitude. But this was more just like a stress release, and it allowed sadness to come up for me about my dad and my mom, and that was good. I'm not going to be sad about that on this, because Mom might watch it and that would make her really sad. I don't talk about Mom and Dad because it's a painful subject for me, one that I have a hard time even facing right now because I'm not with them.
For the nutrition management.
Oh yes, please.
Thank you.
If you could just put it on top of that bag would be fine.
Jamie?
Yes.
Right here?
Yeah. Does that look good?
I don't know.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Do you want it over there or it's fine?
No, there's real good.
Okay.
I'm not going to eat just yet.
Okay. Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, y'all. I hadn't had an interruption for at least 30 minutes. But you see what the life is like. That was my nurse. That was the first interruption. She has been so fantastic today, and she's been training. Her name is Mary, and she's been training Lee, and together they're just the most lovely presence. So I love when they come in. And then the next interruption was my dinner coming in. So anyway, I want y'all to know about what's going on with my mom and dad. You can just tell me you're praying. Questions aren't helpful right now for me. But it's something I'm really I have a hard time processing right now because it's, I have to stay positive as much as I can. But Dad is growing very weak with his cancer, and I think I'm pretty angry that I am going through this right now instead of being able to be with them. So that's all I can say about that right now. But last night crying and crying about the room, I was also crying for them and about them. So anyway, shoot. It's just been a really hard time in too many ways, This is that's the worst part. So anyway, also I was just confused with God. Like, I wanted to draw near to him, but I didn't want to draw near to him because he didn't seem very nice at the moment. I just felt kind of like, well, that was kind of cold of you to do, put us in one of the bad rooms. And, when it was such an opportunity for you to help us feel the kindness of your love. And it made the whole thing of last week come back up, like we were starting out my transplant, 3 to 4 weeks stay in the hospital, with joy and with gladness and with fellowship. And we would have had a room all set up when John and Lisa left. We would have figured out how to make it beautiful together. And, why couldn't we start with joy? Why do we have to start with tears? So it was hard. We turned on the baseball game. I don't know if any of you are baseball fans. We're not big baseball fans except for LSU when they won the College World Series this past spring when I was having scleroderma stuff. We watched every single little play and they won, and it was so exciting. But usually in the regular, big people baseball, what's it called? Like the MLB, Major League Baseball. I did it! The MLB. We usually watch the World Series, and that's fun. But we're watching a little more right now because, we need things to do. And we've watched a few games, so we turned it on in the room last night, and that was so comforting just to have something normal. And then, of all things, my Dr. Vance came in the room. It was like 9:00 at night. And he said, "How are you doing?" And I told him, I feel really good physically, but I've been crying. And so he said, "Why?" And I told him, this room just is going to be a difficult place to be, looking out on a building. And he was like, "Let me do what I can do." And so, and the nurse who was my nurse last night, she came in after he had talked with us for a while, and then he was about to leave, and he was again, "I'm going to see what I can do about the room." And she said, "I've already been looking into it, and it looks like someone's discharging tomorrow, and we can move you." So, because at first they said, we don't know when it'll be. When someone discharges and the room isn't needed, we can move you. And, it might be a few days, it might be 2 weeks. They had said that at first, and that's when I was crying. So anyway, that was just a sweet uplift of some compassion and help, and that was good. At first the nurses just seemed more like, well, yeah, this view sucks, yeah. So anyway, so I woke today and just kind of was able to, I think I was surprised that I had some view of the sky. I had pictured like the wall coming up where all you can see is your neighbor's wall. But I could see some sky, and it had clouds in it, and it was there. Right now even there's pigeons flying through the clouds, and I felt so grateful just to have a sense of that expanse, to have a sense of God and nature. So I thought, I have got to be grateful for what we've been given. I don't know, I just felt like I felt this last night when I was crying too, but I was more able to do it today. Just thinking about Israel and the suffering of what people are going through there, and that I have a safe place to be. My family is all safe, and we have food and shelter, we have great medical care, and we have insurance, and I'm starting my chemo, and I just thought, I've got to focus on that, and I've got to try to stay positive. And I thought, and I still though was struggling with God though, but I don't want to anyway, so I'll talk about that more in a minute. But first, I just want to tell you about the day a little bit. Today was chemo day 1, and it happened. It's day B in BEAM, which is the acronym for the chemo I'm having. The actual chemo is BCNU, and they take the B. And so I got the B done. This morning they said, well, the doctor has to come and okay getting started. He has to look at your labs and make sure. And last night, Dr. Vance had mentioned that my kidneys looked a little off on Monday, but that Tuesday they looked good. And so I knew that he had actually checked something. But he came and checked, and he said that a lot of the numbers seemed to be off in their office on Monday, and my kidneys were great today, and he's not worried. So I got to do it. So here is wait. Okay, I'm gonna do a little show and tell now, okay? First, I wanted to show y'all my room. So Craig sent these 2 pictures. I'm gonna send you pictures first, and then I'll show you the real thing. But these pictures kind of say it all. The first one is of John and Lisa in our penthouse a week ago, and the second one is the view from my bed. Let's see if I can do this. Okay. Can you see? Let me see. Can you see real well? I'm gonna do it again. Hang on. Let me get where I can see. Okay. There. Do you see those 2 pictures? I hope it shows real good. Real well. The top one, the beauty, the expanse, the relaxation. And then the second one, big old massive complexes and buildings. So, I hope it helps you understand. Yeah. Beauty is just so important. Truth, goodness, and beauty are three of the virtues of the ancient church. And beauty ministers to our souls in a way that nothing else can. And it's meant to do that. It is meant to speak to our hearts and our minds and our souls. And, a lot of people our society is quite pragmatic and, STEM teaching, education in schools, all that is fantastic, but it can leave out and seem to devalue beauty. So I would love to have some beauty for my healing while I'm here and for my positivity and whatever. So here I am. So I'm sitting in a chair, and here's our messy room. Please don't judge us, because we kept thinking we were going to move, so we haven't done anything to help the place. Here's my daily 600 calorie afternoon snack. There's my bed, and there's my IV pole from which the chemo was hung and delivered through these things into my trifusion. So my port, I think it's okay to show you this now. See, it has these three things hanging down, and I'm attached to the IV pole that way. So that's how I got my chemo. And I don't feel anything because they just hook it up to here, and it's connected to my insides. So then I'm in this chair, and I look over, and there's the buildings, but the sky, see the sky? There's the couch where Craig stays when he spends the night. I might send him home for the next several nights, because I'm going to be kind of normal. This is his chance to get a good night's sleep. When I'm not doing so normal, I think I might need him here. Anyway, so that is the room. That is my trifusion and my IV pole. So everywhere I go, this guy comes with me. I have to keep it plugged in, because it's on battery. So to kind of recharge the battery, but I can unplug and go around the room, and I do that for a while. It's a nice long battery, so that I can get up and move around. I have got to keep moving around. And then the other thing I get to do for getting around is go outside the room and walk around the square nurses unit. And I don't know, I feel like it takes me about 40 seconds to walk around the whole hallway around the nurses unit. And that's how I have to get my exercise. So I did it 4 times today for like 10 minutes each time, and 15 minutes the last time. So while I'm feeling good, it's so weird. I mean, you're like, what am I supposed to do? I guess I'll just sit here. But having goals helps me. So I set 4 twice in the morning, twice in the afternoon, at least for now while I'm feeling good. I'm gonna walk vigorously, and do some squatting as I go. I've done that where the nurse's station isn't in view, but you know how when you walk and you do a knee bend squat, the ones that are good for your knees, and then stand up. I did some of those, and I pumped my arms. I have to keep my muscles strong. So let's see, the other show and tell I have is the calendar. So I have my new calendar. Oh crap. I just realized I've been doing this whole thing upwards. When I hold it, I always hold it upwards, but it's better when it's sideways, but I can't go sideways now. Oh well, but it would have been better to show the calendar that way. Shoot, I hate when I do upwards videos. They're not near as pleasing for the watcher. Sorry, y'all. Okay, let's see if we can do this. Oh my gosh. Wait, let me get some light on this thing. Blah! Is this working? Okay, can you see it? Can you take a picture? Oh my gosh, I have no idea if you can read that. Okay, so I actually did day 1 chemo. Looking at it is shocking. And so there's a little number up here that says D-D -7. Am I showing that? Wait, the 11th? On the 11th, can you see D -7? Yeah. Okay. So before transplant day, they count in negative. So -7, -6, -5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 0 is transplant day. I think I've said this before. And then it's +1, +2, +3. And it's the, look how lovely that sunset is shining on that big old concrete building. It really is. There hasn't been much sunshine at all today. Started out sunny though the whole morning. That was very helpful. And then, you know, those fall gray clouds came in, and that was okay. Still had texture in the sky. So we are -7, day -7. Okay, calendar. Now let's see what else. Oh, I wanted to explain, a friend asked today, and I realized other people are still sometimes praying for me like I'm having surgery. I'm not having surgery for the transplant, so I want to explain it. I had a surgery to get this port put in, and I'll have a surgery to take it out again at the end of things. When they're pretty sure that I'm beyond needing transfusions, blood transfusions and things. There will be no surgeries for the transplant. It is all going to happen on this IV thing. So just like they hang the bags, so what's up there now is just fluids, but earlier today there was a big brown bag that was the chemo. It's not always in brown, but it was today. So they're going to come in, and it's going to be a bag of my stem cells. You know, I haven't really asked, is it in some kind of fluid or what, but I don't know how they do it, but I'm not going to feel anything. It's just going to be just like a blood transfusion. So, or getting fluids. Yeah. So, okay, does that help? And they call it a transplant because they are transplanting a whole new immune system. So it used to be called a bone marrow transplant, and now they call it a stem cell transplant, if that helps also, because it seems like we all used to know about a bone marrow transplant and what a big deal that is. And today, people are getting stem cell treatments, and that's where they get like injected in a certain area of their body, their knee, their hip. They get an infusion of stem cells or an injection, but that's different. It's not a transplant where they don't have it's not a transplant of their immune system. It's not a transplant, and it's not a transplant of their immune system. So they are not having their immune system first wiped out and then having collected their stem cells ahead of time, putting them back in. Or sometimes people have someone else's put in. With my kind of cancer, you use your own stem cells. And also with scleroderma, you use your own stem cells instead of a donor. So anyway, I hope that clears up anything. So I wanted to just end with talking about kind of how I've been working through this today with the Lord. So first of all, a friend sent me a podcast, just a 5-minute podcast on Philippians 4:11-13, and she thought it might help me, and it did. The speaker I was a little bit irked by, because I just wondered how much he had suffered to be able to say the things he was saying. He was basically saying, okay, first let me read the scripture, okay? This is Paul, who we know suffered a lot. He lists them in certain other places in the New Testament: shipwrecks, beatings, left for dead, cold, other things, persecution, like really bad. Okay, so we can listen to him and really listen. So he says, he's talking to the Philippians, and he says, I'm not saying this. We won't talk about what he was saying. It doesn't really matter in this context. For I have learned to be content, whatever the circumstances. Did I read the whole thing? I am not saying this because I am in need, for I have learned to be content, whatever the circumstances. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. I can do all this through him who gives me strength. So, I was nicely convicted by that passage. The speaker was saying, we can have this deep inner abiding peace and joy, and he kept listing some things that are like what we want to live in every minute, right? But I really don't think that is a reality that God has promised us. I think it's a battle. And Paul, says in other places, I was, what is it? What did he say? I was not perplexed. Was it perplexed? Yeah. He says that he does that whole stream of things where he says, I was perplexed but not undone. I wish I had it before me, but I don't. A whole list of things that he was really hurting and struggling. And you'd say, but I wasn't to the point of death. I was this, but I wasn't being buried in it. But he also talks about, at one point, I don't know if it's in that passage or another one, where he says, I went through all this stuff and I was stressed to the point of, I don't know. My mind is not remembering the things I need to remember right now, but he was stressed to the point of that I am always stressed beyond measure for all the churches, something like that. So Paul experienced dismay. He experienced disequilibrium, stress, sorrow, struggle. So the speaker might perhaps maybe oversimplified it, but the passage doesn't. And Paul, in all that he suffered, did learn. He said, I've learned. It doesn't mean that he was always just that way, but he learned to be content in every situation. I am not there. And he didn't say, I can just muster up the strength and, I should, like it's a moral thing to do. I should be content because other people are suffering more than me. He said, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. So it's a relationship thing. It's not a morality thing. I think that's what I want to point out, because as I was thinking today about, wanting to be grateful for the good things I have and not wanting to be entitled to having some special room, even though I know that is not a bad thing. Having beauty in the midst of illness is a wonderful gift. And so I don't want to begrudge myself that, but when I was trying to be grateful, part of it was just like I should be. I mean, that's just the right thing to do. And there is that element, but I have always, or for a very long time or whatever, since the Lord really got a hold of my heart with his love, I have felt like my life is not about doing right or being right. It's about being in right relationship with the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And doing right just comes from like a delight in the relationship, because he is holy and beauty and good. He is beauty, the source of all beauty. And I want to be like him, and we're meant to be like him. And so today I was struggling because I was struggling with my view of God and how much he might just, want not to really help me or something. And so anyway, I had to get that processed more than just, I'm just going to be grateful. Does that make sense? So this afternoon, well, I talked through it with Craig, and I talked with a friend, and we were processing, hardships and stuff, and that was helpful. And then after that, I took my second afternoon walk, my vigorous walk where I did my squats and I pumped my arms. And I do this thing where when I get around the nurse's station, there's a door to go out of the unit, and it has a little sitting area with a big window that overlooks the city of Dallas, like the downtown. And it's got all this greenery. It's the view that we had in the penthouse. And so the door out of the unit, it's like a double door, and it has those like two rectangular little windows, like little shoop shoop. But I would stop at them and gaze out into the big windows, through the big windows, and to the downtown open expanse. And I would just let myself soak it up. And then I'd walk around another lap, and that was my reward. Uh-oh. Hey, I'm still talking. But I'm almost finished. Like 5 minutes. And I really do need to be finished because I hate doing over 40 minutes. I can't believe y'all listen to 40 minutes, but y'all are such good friends and family. So appreciate it. But I'm at 36 minutes. So anyway, as I was doing that, I was, just getting uplifted, and I thought, man, I could use this time. All of a sudden, I just thought I could use this time to memorize scripture. And I have not very many passages memorized well. I have snippets, and then I get them mixed up, as you can tell as I was talking today. And but Psalm 23 is one that I need so badly, and I just worked on it recently, and so I was able to rehearse it in my mind, and I prayed over it as I walked, and I did 15 minutes because I was just loving what I was doing. And so I just wanted to walk through it a little bit with y'all. I hope this is quick. It's just basically that it just covers everything I feel like that I needed. The Lord is my shepherd. I mean, when I start there, I just always have to come back to, trust me. I am your shepherd. And I don't want him. Okay, let's keep going. I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. And I would think of that when I would look out the view. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He makes me walk in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. So that's kind of the first stanza. And I was like, you care about my soul. You care about me having what I need. You do. And I like, in faith, you do. And you even help me walk in paths of righteousness, because I was feeling kind of like a bum Christian, or bum child of God. And I just felt him saying, no, you leaned toward me when you struggled, and I will make you walk. You just like, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Then the second stanza gets more dark, because lest we think that God will always lead us to the penthouse, or just give us what we feel would be such a good gift from him. That is just not how he has made his children's journeys to be. And so it moves into, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. What could be worse? I mean, we talk about valleys, we talk about shadows, and we talk about death. Well, this is the whole thing. And it says, though I walk there, I will fear no evil, because your rod and your staff, they comfort me. And I've heard some different translations or interpretations of what that means. We know it's something comforting, and a rod and a staff were shepherds' things, and I think that they protected the sheep with the thing. And my IV fluid is, something's wrong. Oh, infusion complete. Let me turn that off. I think I know how. Okay. So, the rod and the staff, they protect, like the cane, the part that goes like that. They pull the sheep back, and then the rod, they could beat off the bad guys, the wolves. And so those things comfort me because you're with me. Okay. Okay, I have to start at the top again from that. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. And the idea of a table, like food and feasting and calm. And you anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. So these like things that God does for us and that are hard to access in the midst of the valley of the shadow of death, but they're real. And I just hate how I feel like I have to keep falling into a pit and trying to get out again, accessing these things from God. But He does help me. And for whatever reason, He's letting me go through this difficult stuff, like kind of day after day. And then it goes, and my cup overflows. My golly, molly sholly. Let's see, and then surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And again, that is only from God doing that. And I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So the forever part is our true hope, where there will be no more tears or dying. And Jesus is the one who secured all of that. And He sympathizes with our weaknesses. He is such a great, He's not just a great high priest, He is a lowly high priest in that He bends low to sympathize with us and to pray for us. Just like God the Father did in the Old Testament. He bent low with His ear to listen. So when we draw near to Him, He draws near to us. And was it Craig that just said, or someone? But I want Him to draw near to me so I can draw near to Him. And that is definitely implied, supplied. God is the initiating one. He's the creator by George. So, He sought after Adam and Eve in the garden. Where are you? Where are you? So I love you all. I'm hopeful and I'm feeling content for the day. I feel grateful for where we are in the process. And tomorrow will be day -6, and there it will be. I'll get 2 different chemos, and it's the E in Beam. Okay, I love y'all. We'll be in touch. Bye.